Wow, 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 wow. Wow. I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this era. This era. I don't know what I'm doing. The show that talks about the many sides of me. I can never have a really normal intro, huh? I'm Kevin, if you don't know who I am. And today's episode topic is anxiety, because we love anxiety. Your anxiety and mine. Okay, let's fade away this music. She said bye. I love that song. This intro was really quick, huh? Sorry to those people who love intros and all that. This intro was very short. Okay. Also, does anyone hear buzzing when I'm talking? Do you hear it? It's like a little zzz. I'm so sorry for that. I do not know why it's doing that. I mean, I hope it's not showing up, but it is showing up and it's making me mad. So there you go. More anxiety. What was I talking about? Well, yeah, this episode topic is your anxiety and mine. I wanted to do a topic with me talking about anxiety. And, I mean, I feel like I speak about anxiety and like throughout my podcast, like I sort of touch it here and there, and, which is okay. But this topic could be, this episode could be more in depth about anxiety and stuff. So one thing that I did want to mention is, like I said in my first episode, I talked about the books that I've read, audiobooks. So I've listened to them, not read. One of them I did read. But anyways, I have those links in the description, in all of the season 2 episode descriptions if you want to check them out. They are Amazon links, so you can find them everywhere else, but I gave you Amazon links. But do whatever you please, sweeties, please. You go gain some knowledge. We love. And the particular book that I wanted to speak about not quickly, but just a little touch on, is Unwinding Anxiety. It's called Unwinding Anxiety, and it's by, let me get the guy's name here because I forgot the guy's name. Unwinding Anxiety by Judson Brewer. And it says, new science shows how to break the cycles of worry and fear to heal your mind. Judson Brewer, PhD, sweeties. This guy, a very, very great book. Absolutely delicious. The book was amazing. It speaks about so many things in such a beautiful way, and science, and even touches on COVID, like in terms of the anxiety that sort of brought. But one thing that this guy talks about is a thing that basically like anxiety is like habitual. It's like habits that are causing the anxiety. And this guy explains, Judson explains like a thing called the habit loop, and he explains it like as a trigger, a behavior, and a result. And that is such a beautiful way of explaining this. And I mean, I'm not going to go in depth about this book because it's a lot, but I highly recommend you listen or read to this book. It just came out and it's absolutely divine, honey. Yes, very divine. Very, very great book. And it talks about that. And I thought it was so pretty. Oh my God, what am I saying? I thought it was so pretty. I thought it was so interesting that, trigger, behavior, result. That something triggers something. So like, for example, I could be doing something that triggers the anxiety. I behave in a certain way and the result is something bad. So I guess I'm trying to get a good example. I'm trying to think of something. Let's say somebody gets me mad. So I got triggered because I'm so triggered. Oh my God. I'm just triggered. Somebody triggers me, right? And I act out. I get mad. My body is frustrated. I get stressed. Oh my God, I hate it. That's the behavior, right? Or I probably say something really bad back. I talk back and a complete gay asshole. And the result is what? Shitty mood. Do I feel good? I don't know. Maybe you were a little bit because like you bashed someone to the T and then you feel disgusting. The result is gross. The result is a broken relationship. The result is whatever. There's a bad result. This is such a great way of explaining like trigger behavior result. And like, I don't know. That's like, I mean, I can like really like talk about a lot about this book, but this guy explains it in that way where basically the biggest thing, and like, you know, the biggest thing that I know for me, for myself, and for a lot of people that I know, and especially recently, and like, I feel like I'm not explaining. What I'm saying is that in the past couple of, in this last season of this era and this, I mean, I speak about this sort of same thing. I speak about the same thing that I have become aware of the issues that basically I become aware of the triggers. And dude, I always hiccup when I'm on my podcast, I swear. As I was saying, I become aware of the triggers and I try to mitigate or completely stop the behavior. And so because I stopped, you know, have recognized the trigger and know the behavior, I know what's going to happen with the behavior. I know what's going to happen. The result is not the same anymore. I'm not getting the same result. Recently, so I don't know why. Like I said, I think I said in the last few episodes in season 1, I was explaining about that I had the amoeba and all that. I had a lot of intestinal issues from E. coli and amoeba. And I was on antibiotics. I feel as though that these antibiotics were making me very weak and, you know, gross and stuff. And antibiotics do that. But another thing is that I had anxiety. I was anxious because I was not, you know, let's just pause right here and let me explain I'm going to tell you the Google translation of anxiety. So according to the online dictionary, anxiety is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. Right there, it says it right there exactly. And typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. The uncertainty that I had with, for example, in this case that I'm talking about, my amoeba and these antibiotics, I was uncertain if I was being cured completely. Because I mean, I obviously had a bunch of things that I was like, oh, I'm getting better. But then there's that other side where I'm like, I don't know, am I getting better? You know, I did this happened. I start overthinking and I get anxiety. And I was getting anxiety. And people usually feel sort of like your palms could be sweaty. Your heart starts beating really quick, you know, really fast. You feel like you're gonna die. And I don't know if anybody who's listening has ever had a sort of anxiety attack, and not an anxiety attack, but like some sort of attack like that. I feel that I have not had a sort of anxiety attack where it's like extreme. But I did have moments where I felt like I was going to die, or I had a heart attack, or I was going to have a heart attack, and impending doom, whatever. And I wanted to like call 911 or something. That it's been that extreme, but not to a point where I faint or anything like that. And I'm saying, like, you know, before I would have a lot of that. And luckily I had a friend at that time who was helping me. And I don't know, things that, you know, the biggest thing that I have learned, and before, but especially now, is becoming aware of the trigger, becoming aware that I am having anxiety. And that is the biggest, like, thing the biggest, like, sort of hurdle, the biggest next step that you could possibly have is recognizing that you are not okay and that you are like having some anxiety, for example. And in this case, I was having anxiety, and I would feel it in my body, and I would feel, my heart would race and all that. And it was happening during this time with the amoeba. It was happening more toward when I was showered, and I do not know why. Every single time I was showering, basically my anxiety was always triggered by a physical response, like a physical feeling. And I thought I was like acting stupid. I thought I was weird, but I remember doing some research, and I found out that is a common thing, that people are triggered through like bodily functions, like the way they feel in their body. And in this case, I was so weak, right, from the pills or whatever, and I would feel like everything in my body, I would feel gross. And so when I was in a shower doing a simple task like washing my body, I would get tired, and my heart would be racing because of the how much force I'm trying to I have to put on my body. And this would make me draw my attention to my heartbeat, the way I'm like functioning, right? And because of my awareness of the heartbeat, I start getting anxiety, and my heart would start getting faster and faster. And it's such a cyclical thing, because the anxiety is what causes your heart to beat faster. And so that would happen. And the biggest thing that I did is recognize that I was having anxiety during those times. And what I did is I was helping myself by taking some stress gummies. I was drinking some Celestial Seasonings Tension Tamer tea. I don't know if anybody knows who Coco Peru is, but she loves a Celestial Seasonings Tension Tamer. I highly recommend, by the way. It's a really great tea. It's a tea blend, and it has botanicals that help with calming down and all that. And so I was taking these supplements technically to help me, and they were helping me. And I know that these ingredients, right, actually help you physiologically, but another thing could be like psychologically too, like a placebo almost. So if it's working, it's working, and I did it for me, and it was working. I was drinking this, and it was helping me sort of calm down. And what happened is, like, I explained this to my boyfriend very well, that I would have anxiety in a shower, and I think he asked me like I don't know what he asked me, but I told him that it felt like as if the anxiety was like a being, like a person, like another, let's just say another version of me, and I didn't give it attention. So when I gave it attention is when I would start getting more and more anxiety. I knew it was there. I felt the anxiety in my body, and I was like, you know what? You're okay, and don't give it attention. You're not going to get all like, weird. And that would make it easier, and I would not get as much anxiety. And so that's the biggest lesson that I could like give to someone, is try to become aware of the trigger that causes the behavior, like the anxiety, in this case for me, the anxiety, and thus preventing the result. And you get better results. The result is either good or bad. And so another thing that I could explain in trigger behavior result kind of style from the book Unwinding Anxiety is that, let's just say, this is a very weird topic, but let's just say I'm trying to lose weight, right? Let's just say I'm trying to lose weight. You get triggered, you're trying to, there's so many ways I could explain this, but one in particular could be like, I get triggered to eat something, and I eat it. That's the behavior, and the result is like excess calories and all that, or whatever. Or you feel bad. That's sort of like an example. I don't know what other examples, like there's so many different ways you could put this. Like you could apply this sort of model in like a bunch of things. But in my case, especially anxiety, it's that, something triggers the anxiety, you cause a behavior, and the result, the result. And so I don't know. That went away. Luckily, the anxiety. I mean, I still have anxiety of it. Obviously, everyone has a form of anxiety here and there about, again, something uncertain. And that's like the biggest thing. Like the uncertainty is what is anxiety. You are getting anxious because you don't know what's going to happen next. And that's something that's like really huge in my life, where I always constantly want to know what's going to happen next. And my head goes into different scenarios to try to find like every possibility and what scenario could possibly happen. And that's anxiety. And it sucks because I know that there's some people, there's some people that don't have that. There's some people who are just so free in a way. I'm not saying they're free, but they're like free from like, oh, give me a second. My vacuum turned on. Oh my God. I literally forgot what I was talking about. Anyways, but yeah, like the biggest thing is like becoming aware of like, I became aware of that. I became aware. And that's the thing is that anxiety is like, there's some people who are so like, they don't really have like that sort of thing. They don't really focus on like the uncertain outcome and they just live. And for other people, they are worried about the outcome. And that's the biggest thing that that's the biggest sort of thing that I speak about in my podcast, where it all connects with each other. Like where being present causes less anxiety because you're not aware of the future and you're not aware of the past. You're just present. So therefore, no anxiety, no uncertainty. And that's the biggest thing. Again, I keep saying biggest. That's the biggest thing that I have like really changed about myself and learned a lot, is becoming aware. And that's like the biggest thing that I could say, like the biggest lesson. Like try to find the trigger. Try to find a point, like try to be aware of what's causing that and get rid of it or help, manage, like, do something to help you remove that. People could be causing you that. That people could be triggering that and causing you to feel shitty, and the result is feeling crappy and unmotivated and all of these things. I've had moments of that. I had people trigger me, trigger my poor little gay heart. No, I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. What am I saying? But you know what I mean? Like there's obviously people that do that, and that's toxic. Like you are not in alignment with those people. You are not in alignment with these things that cause these triggers, that create this behavior and result in something bad and no growth. So remove it. She said, bye, bitch. Go away, stupid hoe. God, I'm fighting you. God, we're so mad right now. Oh, angry. Anyways, as I was saying, I got a little feisty right there, what's it called? Anxiety. Another thing this is a very interesting topic. Anxiety, something that I really thought, and I said it in another episode, I think, where anxiety could internally like manifest. And I feel like I worried so much before that it manifested into my body in different things. Like I used to have a lot of allergies, like really bad allergies. Like I had like I had bronchitis a lot. I would have to, take these like things like it's sort of like an inhaler. And, maybe there's two sides that I think. Either one, I think, I grew out of it. Like I grew up and my body changed, or I've really had these problems manifesting physically. And that's a phenomenon that has been studied, where people have these issues and they manifest into problems. And I don't want to get so far, but there's some people who have got rid of their cancer from sheer positivity. By changing the mood, there's some people that have changed the way they perceive the world. And these issues in their body completely go away. I'm talking about tumors. I'm talking about cancers shrinking and completely going away from their body without anything. Just sheer thought. And I think that is the most fascinating thing ever, that we truly have the power to heal. And I know there's so many studies like this where, people could, you really could just tell your brain. I'm giving you the rundown. You could tell your brain to send more blood flow in this section of your body to help heal it faster. That's like a sort of a quick thing. Like your brain could do these things. You just gotta like practice and do that. I'm not calling myself like the perfect person who does that. I really don't know how to. I mean, we do that sort of thing like unconsciously a little bit or whatever, or being positive. But people, like, that's a thing, and I think that is so cool. What's it called? I feel like another thing, and I don't know who told me, there was this thing where like, the way you perceive the world, it's like if you're so anxious and like everything's like uncertain and scary, you're gonna perceive the world like that, and it's just gonna be like shitty. But when you are like completely positive and like, you're thinking about all the beautiful things that comes out of everything and the beauty in everything, your world manifests into something like magnificent, like something like beautiful, like, oh my God, this is such a great thing. It's like a seeing a flower. To a person who is not in that sort of great mindset, the flower looks absolutely stupid, disgusting. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to the world. But a person who perceives the world like differently, like more better, could look at the flower and think of it as beauty, as life, as something that a bee lands on and gets pollen, something that gives bees its pollen, something, life. There's energy, the flower petals, the color, the smell, the result that it brings, all of these things, the connectedness of this flower growing out of the ground. And it's just like, that's like a little way of like saying like, you perceive, like, you could change the way you perceive everything by just sheer thought. And I don't know, that's like the biggest thing that I could like a biggest lesson, whatever. And that's another, like, you know, not to like do not attach to like negative thoughts is what I'm saying. Like if you like attach to that causes anxiety, and that, could make your world look different. Speaking of anxiety, I said it. Oh no, it's because I recorded like a different episode, but I bought this cube on Amazon called the Shishibo cube. It is so cool. I was sort of, it like could change shapes, and it has like magnets. You can hear the magnets right here, like. And it could change different shapes. Its base shape is a cube, and you could like morph it into different like shapes. It's really, really cool. And it's not sponsored, but I'm saying it's called a Shishibo cube on Amazon. Highly recommend it. Go look at it. But this thing, I was anxious. I was anxious about the uncertainty. Here it is. I was anxious about getting my COVID shot, my first one. So I bought this toy that I've always wanted. It's a toy. Anybody could get it, sweetie. There's no labels. You don't need to be a kid to get a toy, sweetie. And it helped me a lot because I'm like playing with it, and I'm focused on this and not focused on what I'm feeling in my body, right? For example. And that's a great way, that's something that people sort of, that's how you could like manage with these things. Like it's the awareness of the anxiety, like becoming so aware of like the way you're feeling with anxiety, and that causes it. There's two sides. You could become aware of it and say, hey, I'm having anxiety. I am okay. Just breathe. Or there's the part where you're like, oh my God, I'm having anxiety. Oh no, I can't. Oh no, my heart. I feel like I'm going to die. Like you just keep constantly going deeper and deeper. That's what I'm saying. That becoming aware of something else removes that awareness of like my body, for example, in my case. So I bought this thing that I could play with and not focus on anything else. And it was helping me. So I bought that, and I highly recommend it, or anything that gives you, but something good and healthy, not something that's like gonna cause problems. another way of like saying is like some people getting anxiety and they feel good by eating. And because eating releases dopamine and all of these things in our head, in our brain, and you feel good. So your body's like, oh, I feel shitty. I'm going to eat something and I'm going to feel good. But then it goes away and you feel, some people feel, some regret and they feel gross because they ate like a lot or something. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that, that I bought that and that sort of applies to this thing. And like dietary stuff too, like can reduce stress. For example, me with, drinking these supplements that help, like they're botanicals, they're adaptogens. Adaptogens are like mushrooms. These things are known to help with anxiety. Like aromatherapy. If your thing is a diffuser with some essential oils and you love the smell and that causes you to be happy and you feel good, please do it. Don't get something that's going to be that bad in the air and it's going to cause problems, but get something that's healthy in that sort of way. Or get a supplement that doesn't have a lot of bad products, but when I say bad products, I mean like something that's good, but doesn't have like unnecessary crap that like colorants or something. You don't need that in your body, but that's personal preference. But dietary things and stuff like limiting alcohol or caffeine, because that is known to cause anxiety. Like, because caffeine is a stimulant, your heart obviously beats a little bit faster with some caffeine. People are triggered with that. I know I could be triggered by that. And alcohol also causes these things. That's a depressant. Again, I'm just saying that you don't need to, but these things like that could help, So I for sure like try to watch out with the caffeine content that I take, because when I take a lot of caffeine, I do feel a little bit jittery and that causes me to get a little bit anxious. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that, a little story with me, and I hopefully, brought to light something, and I hope that I did. And that's a great thing for the episode's advice of the day. My advice of the day is to try and become aware of the trigger that causes you to be anxious. And do that. Try to make that into a habit. Again, read that book. That book is absolutely phenomenal and perfect in explaining what I'm sort of saying right here. So definitely read that book, Unwinding Anxiety by Judson Brewer. You can read it anywhere. I listened to the audiobook on Google. Again, highly recommend it. And these links will be in the description of my episodes, all of the season 2 episodes. So again, it's an Amazon link, but you can look at it. You can find it anywhere. I just put it as an Amazon link. So yeah, I hope I helped. That's the advice of the day. And what's making me happy? What's making you happy? So what's making me happy today? Or what's making me happy this week? I don't know. I've said it. What's making me happy is that I got a good grade. I got 2 good grades on my 2 classes for my semester in this new college I'm going. By the way, I'm going to a new college. So that's making me happy. Like it's making me happy because the teacher and a lot of the students have shown me great support and have really brought to light that I'm doing great in terms of design and the quality of the work, and like basically really extracting something from a concept and creating like a visual experience from it. And that is such a big like it's like inspiring almost, and that's another thing that I could add with my podcast cover art and all that. The cover art to me is absolutely amazing and such an improvement from the previous, and it makes me happy. And I hope that you guys could see that too. And I hope that I did a great job in my design, because I love that. So that's what's making me happy. So what's making you happy this week? What's making you happy today? Or in general, what's making you happy? And really think about that. Take a little moment and think about what's making you happy right now. And that's such a great thing. Appreciate that. Appreciate that feeling and being happy, and find more moments like that. And maybe that could help you, especially with your anxiety if you have any, which I'm sure you do because everyone has, and stress. So yeah, I really hope I helped, guys. Oh my God. Yes. Woo. Okay, guys, I'm gonna start my outro music here, sweeties, because we love this era. Okay, thanks for listening to this era. That felt like fast for me, but it's been 30 minutes. So yeah, thank you for listening. I hope I helped and practice these little things. We love this outro. Thanks for listening. Before you go, if you haven't already, show some love to your favorite podcast by leaving me a review on Apple Podcast or anywhere that you listen to your podcast. And give me a follow. If you have not given me a follow, please give me a follow. It'll let you know when I upload a new episode. So thank you guys for doing that. And thanks for following me and listening. Whoever has been listening to me this far. Thank you. Stay tuned for next week where I might talk about, I'm not sure, I'm going to talk about the topic of music and its impacts on life and our mood and all that. So, we love that. Okay, I'm going to enjoy my rest of my day here, my little week, my day off. Thanks for listening to this era. Bye.